So we were able to integrate all the functionality on one PCB.
So none of AC wallboxes have payment terminals. If somebody had to install it, it used to be a separate payment terminal on the side. It still was not really implemented because of the cost factor, because AC wallbox, and then you have to install the pillar. True?
We thought we can integrate a payment terminal. We can make sure that people can actually pay at the charger.
Payment methods could be
All bank cards, Maestro, credit card.
France, it's basically a shutter socket, which makes it different. In the UK, it's more related to smart charge.
The only installation work that you have left when you want to open the box is these 6 screws. Okay, so I take this out. This will be the upright position and the cable will be coming in from the top.
True.
There are also many situations where the cable should come from the bottom.
Yes.
I have this little unit. I can unclick this.
Okay.
And now look how this changes. Voila, cabling from the bottom.
And this is the first time I'm installing a wall box. Let's see. So I've been making videos about electric vehicle charging. I've covered all type of fast chargers, 400 kilowatt, and soon you're going to see also 1.5 megawatt charger from BYD. But that's we all talk about, right? So that is some specific use case. We talk about highway charging. But one topic that we never really discuss is what happens when an employee goes to the office and he has to park the car for 8 hours? What happens if somebody goes to IKEA and they are not going to come out in the next 2.5 or 3 hours? What happens if you go to a different city and you have to park the car? For example, you're going with your kids and you want to visit a museum. You're going to park your car for 3-4 hours. Or if you are visiting a hotel and you have to charge overnight, that's the infrastructure I've never made a video about. And this is a topic that we never talk about. And also, this is the area where we don't see a lot of innovation until today. That's what I'm going to show over here in this video. So I'm standing at the booth of Peblar, and they have just brought out their dual socket charger, which is a 22 kilowatt charger with a really nice screen and a lot of features that we are going to discuss with their experts. A short disclosure. Thank you so much, Peblar team, for inviting me over here. This is a paid video. But everything that we are going to discuss over here in this video, it's not going to be a typical marketing. It's going to be deep dive questions, understanding the product, understanding the market, and how it fills the customer gaps that are left behind. So stay tuned because we are going to learn a lot. So let's meet the experts. Hi Nilles, it's a pleasure meeting you. Hi Xaviera, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Thank you
Welcome on our booth.
Thank you so much, thank you so much. I would like to really deep dive into the charger, which I can see behind, and also I can see the fully closed one over here. But first, I would like to understand about you guys. Who are you? What are you doing at Peblar?
So I'm Nilles Vrijsen, I'm the technical director at Peblar. I'm there from the beginning. I can tell you everything about that.
That's amazing. And Xaviera?
Yeah, so my name is Xaviera Reynhout and I'm product manager for the Peblar Dual. I'm very proud to showcase it here today at the Prodrive.
Perfect. So what I would like to ask is perhaps in the direction of what is Peblar? How should we envision it? How long have you been in the industry? How long have you been manufacturing the AC wall boxes? What are your current products? And then we are going to discuss anyways on the roadmap.
So Peblar is relatively new in the market as a brand, but actually as a company we exist for years already. So we started as part of Prodrive Technologies, electronics manufacturing and development company around Eindhoven, over 30 years old.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Well known in industrial, semicon, medical industries, automotive as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when the EV charging market was coming, we were a supplier of a charger for a large automotive player in the field, where we learned to design how an EV charger should look like. And after that, we saw this market coming. It was growing. Mm-hmm. We thought we can do it even better ourselves if we are fully in control. So that's actually why we started designing this product, our first charger. I was involved in that, in defining how it should look like. And in that charger, we were still part of Prodrive Technologies, but because of the success of this product and also the combination with the market which is changing all the time, we decided to put it separate as a separate business line. Eventually turn it into Peblar, the company where we are today.
Nice. So that means that it's not a new company. So if somebody hears the name Peblar, so it's not like you just exist for the last 2 or 3 years. It's more like there's a history behind. So there's Prodrive behind, it's 30 years. So it's not like, because one of the things that I talk to people when they're discussing about buying EV chargers. So the thought process of a typical consumer is, what if I buy the charger and the company doesn't exist in 2 or 3 years? Then they have a huge problem on their hands. So in this case, that's kind of assuring that you have a history behind of 30 years of manufacturing, a big name behind it. Can you tell me what was your first product? Were these the first products?
Yeah, these are the first products. This is the exploded view. What we do different than most competition is that we are an electronics manufacturer, so we were able to integrate all the functionality on one PCB. So the power, the safety, energy metering, but also communication, LTE, WLAN, and Ethernet.
Okay.
Integrated on one design, which is easy to manufacture, guarantee high quality, low manual labor cost. So we can also make it just in the Netherlands, European made. But we also designed it such with a mechanical and electronics combined, so it's perfect fit also with volume and manufacturability, but also installation is taken into account from the beginning.
Okay.
So that's how it all comes together. So it's easy to install, it's easy to put wires in, and it's very robust also to the installer, which is pulling cables with PCBs protected. And that in mind, it's also very much valued by installers and people using the product.
Perfect. Now I would like to understand also, what have you brought new? What were the customer groups or the pain points or the market gaps that you were seeing and you said, okay, we need to make something new for that?
Yeah.
And once you have explained that, and I would still need you for that part, because I would like to understand on the manufacturing, what goes behind the scenes, what we don't see as normal consumer, but also somebody who's working in the manufacturing or in the e-mobility industry. We don't really get to see the behind the scenes on the AC wallbox manufacturing, testing, robustness, quality. So
tell you all about it later.
So perfect.
Yes. So this is the newest asset to our portfolio as Peblar. It's the Peblar Dual, like double socket. So as you've just seen in the previous part, we have been making AC wall chargers for a couple of years now. We started with our own brand in 2023. And in that time, we've built up a lot of competence and also a lot of goodwill with the installers and distributors. And what we hear all the time is like, don't you guys have something dual? So it's something with a double socket, also for curbside parking, semi-public use, parking spaces at shopping centers, entertainment parks, anywhere. And well, we didn't have that, and we saw that there was a demand. And we were like, well, we did our first job very well. We can do this again, and we can do better yet again. So that's why we came up with just little baby.
Perfect. So you mentioned about curbside, so parking area. So, and that's for a installer. That is also a really nice case because they don't have to install two of them now. You can install one in the middle, and you can get 11 kilowatts, at least when two cars are charging, which usually almost 90% of the cars have as a standard 11 kilowatt onboard charger. So that means with one installed product, you can serve basically.
So this saves you installing 2 units, correct? But it also saves you drawing 2 cables, so feeder cables to the charger. So this is just making one connection, getting 2 sockets. So as you say, it's either 1 times 22 kilowatts or 2 times 11. And then we have load balancing in there. So the charger manages it all by itself, dividing the power over the 2 cars.
Okay.
So that's included in the package. Don't have to think about it. Then the big question is, how do you deal with the billing? As we were thinking about this, we also want to take this to the next level because I think nobody loves all these RFID cards, that you need these charger cards. That's a real pain point in the market, and it's also an entry barrier.
That is one thing I would really like to discuss because I have written so many posts on LinkedIn about the payment, the transparency, about ad hoc charging on DC chargers. This is something I'm a huge proponent of, and I've been trying to push it for a very long time. And on AC wall boxes, I've never seen anything. Firstly, you don't have a lot of, actually none of AC wall boxes have payment terminals. If somebody had to install it, it used to be a separate payment terminal on the side, and then you could choose which wall box you can connect. But it's still it still was not really implemented because of the cost factor, because AC wall box, and then you have to install the pillar for that separate payment channel. But now, I think you're going to explain the thought process, and this is the part I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
And I will let you take the stage. Let me stand up over here. Yeah, I mean, if nobody sees it, I'll just show you why I'm saying it. So I have to stand up.
Very tall, proud Dutch lady.
So,
Yes. As we do all the engineering ourselves, our imagination is infinite.
true.
So we thought we can integrate a payment terminal. We can make sure that people can actually pay at the charger, and that's what we enabled.
Perfect. So, what you have something in your hand, and you want to show the demo,
I do.
and we are going to see it right now here.
So now I'm going to show you what it feels like to charge in the near future with a Peblar Dual. So this is going to be available
Go for it.
next year, 2027. So my experience will be like this. I'm a lady, I've been going shopping, I want to go shopping all day. I know my car is empty, I've been traveling a long way, so I'm going to put my car. It's fast. I'm going to activate my glass ready to charge. And then I know this screen, I see
Exactly.
it everywhere.
So let me see the payment
Yeah.
methods. So the payment methods could be,
All bank cards, Maestro, credit card.
okay, it
And
says
okay.
QR code. So what is
Yeah.
QR?
Look,
So it's
this
more
is-
like a dynamic QR code.
this is dynamic QR code, yeah. So the owner of this charger can choose what he wants to show. So they can choose dynamic QR code, which they can control by themselves. The experience would be like this. I would take my phone, I would be guided to a payment website. I'd do my
True.
ideal, whatever, Vero transaction, and I'd have paid. It's the same as at the gas station.
True. So that's a QR code.
This is dynamic QR code.
Perfect.
Yeah. And this is actually safer than having a sticker.
Yes. And
So much safer.
And this is one of the things I've posted also about, and I think you all can agree. But what was happening is that if people used to have static QR codes, you can apply over here, and the people used to trust that sticker, and you could scan the QR code, and then you could make the payment. But then the fraud started happening. So people were making fake QR codes, and they were taking to their websites where you had to enter your details. And then, yeah, it's not a good idea. And that's why first thing it happened, I think it was in AFIR, or where did it come
Yeah,
from?
in AFIR, it's price transparency is mandated.
True. And then the first solution was QR code. But of course, we go all to buy groceries. And we are so accustomed to paying with a credit card. And this is something I, as a driver, as a person who is working in the e-mobility industry, I really want that feasibility to go anywhere, tap my card and pay it. I'm not just saying about RFID, I'm just talking also about the credget card. And now we are
This
going...
could be the only card in my wallet for driving.
True.
My bank card. So now, let's go back to the card payment. So
It accepts everything.
accepts everything. This is just a normal payment terminal, the same as you have in food trucks, supermarkets, anywhere.
Okay.
Fully functional payment terminal. So I tap my card. Yeah, so I'll type my super secret PIN. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's-
This is demo, eh?
Yes.
You get that.
So don't try it.
Say confirm.
This charge.
And look, we are charging.
That's amazing.
And this is everything that it should be. I can go shopping now, and I'll come back later, and my car's full.
Yes.
And the only card I needed was my bank card.
And if talking about shopping, I think we are talking also about IKEA cases.
Absolutely.
Because one thing,
Love that too.
because I live in Germany, so I saw recently a site which was IKEA chargers. They were like 20 kilowatts. Only 2 of them were installed, and they were decommissioned. And I just made a random post. I asked people, hey, what do you think should be installed over here? And I got a lot of feedback. I thought a lot of people are going to say install 50 kilowatt chargers. But majority of the people were in favor of installing more AC wall boxes.
Okay.
The idea behind was that any person who goes to IKEA, their dwell time is on average 2.5 hours.
IKEA makes it so.
Yeah, and even if you have a 50 kilowatt charger, your car is going to get full. And we all know about the famous blocking fees.
Yeah.
And you do not go to IKEA with the thought process, I have to come back again in 1 hour and plug my car out and drive somewhere. You'd want this freedom, and that's why I think AC wall boxes have a tremendous future. And also, we were talking earlier about the installation cost efficiency. It's going to be so good for the companies. I mean, I can see some visuals over there. So it could be like correct me if I'm wrong, but if I see an employee building, that is going to be such a really nice use case. We all go to work for about 8 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
And you plug the car, you don't need 2 chargers, you just need 1. And
it also looks way better. Just the half of the number of chargers. For the environment, it also
Saves resources.
saves it's a more pleasant view on the parking space as well.
True. Perfect. So now we have done the payment part. Thank you so much for going out of there because I really wanted to discuss this.
Yeah.
I really believe in the future of this. On this charger, when we could see in the field.
This charger could be seen in the field earlier without the payment feature. It will be available in Q4.
With the payment terminal feature, it's going to come in somewhere 2020 next year.
During next year.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, I would like to understand on the manufacturing side of things. And this is the area, I've been to charger manufacturer sites on DC chargers. So I've seen how they manufacture in Europe, in China. But AC is something I personally wanted to understand as well. So that's the area now I wanted to kidnap you for some time. So can you kindly explain to me what goes behind, how you guys test your products?
One of the different things that we as Peblar do compared to others, we have the manufacturing site just next to our development building. So people can walk just onto the factory to see how the product is being made, what goes well, what can be improved. That's how the design for manufacturing really comes back into the minds of the engineers. So that's the philosophy of Prodrive Technologies that we are part of. What it means, we do the PCB assembly, S&D, and through all soldering of all the components on the PCB, with all kind of testing in between, X-rays, adhesion of tin, how well it connects, and we also program there the microcontrollers. For example, the energy meter is already programmed and tested in line of the PCB manufacturing line. And with that, we are very much in control of how the product is qualitatively made and also performs on the field. The same with system assembly, we do that also on our own. So in the development, there's also a lot of testing involved. So if you look at how we approach the development of a product, we apply already automotive norms, IATF, which is usually applied to car components. We applied it also to the EV charger because we believe that chargers should be as reliable as the car, should always work.
What is the norm for? What?
So the IATF norm is a business process norm on how you develop products for automotive. So it's quite strict on quality and on development processes, how you assure that you be safe, apply all the requirements from the norms. Test it to make a reliable product in the end.
And these are your test or manufacturing facilities?
Manufacturing sites, manufacturing capabilities, PCB manufacturing is here on the back.
Do you manufacture your own PCBs?
The green plates we buy, we source, but for the rest we put all the components you see here on the board ourselves.
And I earlier saw there was a test room as well, so it was an acoustic room.
So here you see injection molding also at our site, in our factory. We design our own molds. We apply them in our own machines, and we're fully in control, process control, the testing, measuring the size, if it's correct, if it visually appears well, it's all done.
So every component, basically every charger that goes out in the field has been tested 100% for that?
Extensively in our factory. It's all manufactured.
But what includes in the end-of-line testing? Does it include also one-time charge session or a demo charge session?
So what we do in the end-of-line, we do risk-based testing. So it has been tested already. Many things have been tested already inside the production line. And then in the end-of-line, we do final programming on final firmware, customized sometimes, or standardized Peblar. And then we bring it to life. We see if all functionality works, if it connects to WLAN, if the SIM card is placed correctly, if it starts up, if it boots correctly. And then if that's done, if the display appears perfect, fine. If the energy meter hash is visible, all that kind of things is fully tested in the end-of-line. Then we pack it, scan everything, so that we also ensure that everything goes into the box properly and then goes out to the customer.
So you are doing actually really a robust level of testing. Earlier you said about energy meters.
Yeah.
So we didn't discuss the technical specs. We somehow missed it. So, but we wanted to. I want to also ask about the technical specs of that charger. We talked about it's a 22 kilowatt charger.
Yeah.
Is it designed for all European markets? When I say all European market, right now you're in Germany, right? So
yes.
We have Eichrecht. We have the most difficult certification, most difficult norms, basically. So I wanted to ask, in terms of energy meter,
good question. So we tend to put the bar high. So from the beginning, we definitely wanted to include MID, for example, but Eichrecht is something that we should have as well. Germany is an important market. So since 2022, we have this charger already Eichrecht certification.
Okay.
That's an Eichrecht. And also in the dual charger, we included it from the beginning.
Okay, so dual charger is already coming with Eichrecht conformity.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that means Germany market, if it fulfills Germany market, it goes for every market basically.
We're ready for that, yeah.
That's amazing. So what I would like to...
But it's not one Europe. Maybe to comment a bit on that. Germany is of course important, but also France has its own requirements. We're also in the UK, where we also have different requirements. It's not part of the EU anymore, so all the European legislation they have adopted to UK legislation. Also there we have some variants in products as well.
Can you just give some short nuggets over here?
Yeah.
Like what are the regulations, differences, and how you're basically...
So in France it's basically a shutter socket, which makes it different. In the UK it's more related to smart charging. So how do you support the grid and how are consumers able to deal with that, like scheduled charging, but also delayed charging, that it's not all chargers start to charge at 8 o'clock, but also some at 10 past 8 instead of all at once.
All right.
So that are slightly differences between those countries. Yeah.
Nice. And one thing what I wanted to ask was, does AFIR play a role for the next generation of AC wall boxes as well? And are you thinking about it?
Yes, definitely. So AFIR is actually a regulation which applies to the installation of chargers, so not to the products itself. Mm-hmm. But of course, with that, you also have requirements for the product. So AFIR says something about price transparency, as we discussed before, but also about capabilities of communication, for example. Now, ISO 15118 is an important topic which is being included in the AFIR this year to January 2026, but also for next year there will be new requirements related to communication towards a vehicle, so it should be more interoperable.
Okay.
Really pushing the market to make the next step also in plug-in charge, be ready for bidirectional charging,
true.
those kind of features. Yeah.
So in future there will be something, I mean we are already in the future, you just brought it right now, but as a person I always like to talk about the future, and the future sooner or later is going to come into the direction of bidirectional charging.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm excited.
It's very exciting. You see a lot of pilot projects with old car manufacturers, charging manufacturers, also energy providers. True. It's still contained within such cooperation, I would say. True. It's not interoperable yet, but it will come. So it's really pushed from all directions, from regulatory, from government, it's really a need to make it happen.
Perfect. Before now, it's just one last question before I go to the installation part. So far, the use cases that we discussed were the offices, the big shopping mall, not like the smaller one, like the big one where you have a huge dwell time, or the hotels. But one thing I forgot earlier was like a private charging home person. So what I wanted to ask was, does it work with solar? Because
good question. So that's also a request we have received quite often from especially consumers with solar panels. Mm-hmm. Of course, a majority of EV drivers also have solar panels, at least in the Netherlands.
Yes.
It's not everywhere the same. But we have 3 modes of charging, or 4 modes actually, of which 3 are related to solar charging, which can optimize for a consumer the amount of solar energy that is used for charging. So it really measures back how much energy is produced by the solar panels, and then adjusts the charging behavior of the car based on that. So you can do only solar. You can start charging when the sun starts to shine, and with more power than the solar itself. It's always a bit of optimization per user. So sometimes you have just a few panels, sometimes you have abundance of panels.
Okay.
And that determines like what's the best profile for a consumer.
All right, that was good. So when you said more markets, because in Germany the most common installation is 11 kilowatts. I think it's similar. It's
similar in Netherlands. Yeah.
Austria is like 7 kilowatts more predominantly. So even
France
any country,
as well. Yeah.
France as well. So any country, even if they have solar and if this is going to work basically.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I just have one last question. I said it earlier, but that's a nugget I want to, because that is also sometimes unclear for me. You earlier said something about MID and Eichrecht. Can you just say one thing, because a lot of company car drivers are confused which one to get.
Yeah.
And I also have issues understanding. Just 1 or 2 words about it, that will be it, I promise.
You mean the German customer, I believe?
Yes.
I'm personally not involved in the installation and what the actual requirement is, but what I understand is that, especially for private use, MID is sufficient. But once you are more in public spaces or when you regulate the energy metering with billing, then Eichrecht is required. But since it's the same product for us, for Germany, it's often that Germans don't want to take a risk and just buy the Eichrecht one, because that's anyhow compliant in all use cases.
And you have already a compliant product, so that means a company driver at home can basically get this.
You can use the Eichrecht version also better.
Perfect.
To that.
So there's one thing I really want to touch on is the installation part. And this is one thing you have to think about, the ease of installation. The cost of installation we have already talked about. Now for this part, can you show us what was the design process? So have you done something also on the installation part?
We've done many things on the installation part. So I think the first thing that's very impressive, I'm not a weightlifter, but look, I can lift this baby. So we have applied a very minimalistic design concept here.
No, I will not let you go forward. So when you say it was easy to weigh, so how much does it weigh?
This is only 8.4 kilograms.
Okay, wow.
Nothing. It's really very, very lightweight. So this is also very easy for installing, easy in your bus, not much volume. This is a very small package.
Okay, nice.
On top of that, of course, I mean, we are rock solid reliability. You can only achieve reliability if you make it as simple as possible. Because if you make it simple, nobody can make any mistakes. So that's really the design philosophy that's behind that charger.
I would like to add one quote over here, because I heard somebody say that the part that doesn't fail in a product is that doesn't exist. So the idea of being simple, so to have as less of a components in a product, so
as
that the failure points get reduced. So it already sounds awesome. So now I'm excited what you're going to show.
So my question would be actually, how do you open this thing? Because really there is nothing for you to open it. So for that we have a little trick. So these are the front covers. You can see that not just anybody can do this. You also need a special tool that we provide.
Okay.
Then I pull this off.
So it's your tool, basically you provide it?
Yeah, every box you get this tool.
Okay.
And then you can use that to open the front cover. I left this one loose.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how it opens up. And now you really done? The only installation work that you have left when you want to open the box is these 6 screws.
Okay, so these are the 6 screws, right? Okay.
Yeah, so you then, so then you can open it up. Now I'm going to turn it over to open this, because that's easier for me.
That's a natural installation.
Yeah, because we've put an automotive seal here to make sure that it's really weather and wind tight.
So which certification does it have when it comes to?
We have IP54.
IP54.
And IK10, so it's incredibly robust. Okay, so I take this out. This is the back of the unit.
Okay.
And this is the front. So if you look at this is a rather simple plastic plug.
Absolutely.
This is where the power and Ethernet cables come in. You connect them, and that's all that the installer needs to do.
Okay, I mean, the design looks absolutely simple, to be honest. So there isn't. So and the PCBs and all the chips are basically on the.
This is the heart and the brains of the charger. Everything, all the intelligence is in here, and this is a very simple thing. And then what you see when I'm holding it now, This will be the upright position, and the cable will be coming in from the top.
True.
Now, there are also many situations where the cable should come from the bottom.
Yes.
So we've been very creative
For example,
about
right
that.
now we're talking just right now.
Absolutely. So what can I do? I have this little unit. I can unclick this.
Okay.
And now look how this changes. Voila, cabling from the bottom.
So that means basically.
That's it.
So that's the upwards installation right now.
Yeah, that's upwards installation.
But if you have a different sort of installation at the site, you can just change
So
the
now it's
configuration. That's amazing.
It is.
So that's design thinking about the customers and installers.
Absolutely. So this, for the installer, this is like minute work, and he doesn't have to put the cable like this or like this on the outside like you would see typically. So the cable, you can choose how you do this, and it's so easy.
Perfect.
So all the installer needs to do is connect the power, connect the Ethernet. You can also daisy chain the power and the Ethernet.
What does daisy?
It means that you can take the power from the first unit, connect, and then use this block.
Okay.
And you can link the second charger to this block and go to the next. This saves you pulling power cables from your central power station. So you'll be connecting one charger to the next.
So how much ampere should go over here and how many?
This is 100 amperes that you can divide. You could do 100 chargers. I would not recommend that because you don't have any current left for all those chargers. So we recommend 3 to 5. That's what you should do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
so if I open it and I can feel something here.
Yeah, let's have a look at this baby. Yeah. So
the screws are not coming out,
if you take this out of the box, the screws cannot get lost. So they will stay stuck. This is incredibly convenient. And this is a big frustration of installers also. Dropping your screw. Yeah, go find it. Good luck.
True.
There goes your installation time.
Okay. So that means this is already really good design and everything is sealed up. So regardless how long you're going to store in which condition, so I think it's going to be highly weather protective.
Yeah, because all the hearts and brains are here sealed up. You cannot access it. It cannot get dirty. If there is a dust cloud or whatever, nothing can get in here. What's in here is as protected and as safe as it was in our factory when we made it.
Perfect.
So there's a perfectly clean environment. So that's also reliability thinking.
I've seen some wall boxes that are open, and when you open them, you see all the chips. So basically everything is open.
Is exposed.
So good luck if it's raining, and good luck if it's minus degrees and there is a lot of humidity outside. So
but also you're not seeing it, but there's actually a lot of intelligence in here that's really advantageous when you're scaling. So when you have a big site, we have dynamic load balancing in here. We have automatic phase rotation.
Okay.
So that means that the charger decides which phases it's going to use. I can flexibly adjust this digitally. With other chargers, you normally have to hardwire the phases. This means that the installer has to really pay attention. Like, okay, this phase goes there, that phase goes there, that phase goes there. With the Dual, that's all digital. So you manage that internally. Also as a group of Duals.
So I did not understand earlier my phase rotation, and that's why I just said, okay, let me ask. But you already explained. So for installer, he doesn't have to think about.
No, you don't have to think about it. Just connect everything in the same way. Here are the brains. We manage the load, everything. Also the phases.
And
so everything stays balanced.
And you said it could be connected with other wall boxes. So how many wall boxes, if there's a huge employer site, he has like 2,000 employees, 3,000 employees, 5,000 employees.
Yeah, let's say the IKEA parking.
Yeah, IKEA parking, exactly. So you want to install like hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Can it be done?
Yeah, of course. Yes, you can all connect them. Yeah, you can all make them act like a big group. And also that you were mentioning like AC charging at IKEA, in a big parking garage. If you want to install DC charging there, how much grid power do you need? It's amazing. So with AC, you need much less. And when your chargers have all the brains and the intelligence to optimize everything, distribute power between all the cars, you make optimal use of your grid.
True, absolutely.
So that's incredibly powerful.
So that was really nice to hear about, and you guys have done really nice work. So I'm not saying because you guys invited me over here. The whole point is that this is the area which doesn't get the love, doesn't get the innovation behind. And to see the payment terminals being integrated, to see that you have thought for installers, to see that you have thought in terms of reliability, robustness, I think this is a really great work. So thank you so much, Xaviera, for explaining the chargers. I really appreciated the installation point of view.
Yeah.
And
So do you want to finish the installation? Do we want to also show them?
yes, for sure.
I think you can do this. Okay, so now you're going to install the charger.
Yes, so this is quite lightweight. And this is the first time I'm installing a wall box. Let's see. All right.
Yeah. Now take your
went perfect.
virtual screwdriver.
Yes, I have to then screw 6 times. And this is the cover over here.
Yeah. And you cannot push it now because we have the screws there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other one will come over here. This is the right way? No, the right way will be like this.
Intuitive, right?
Yes. Really,
That's it. You did it. You installed the wallbox.
thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And yes, it's quite lightweight.
It is.
Thank you so much, and I hope you got to see the process behind AC wall boxes. You got to learn in this video, and I think we have to give a lot of love to AC wall boxes. They are doing steady job. They are doing a spectacular job, and design process of behind this was amazing. So I'm really excited about the payment processes, and from 2027, I think we are going to see a lot of them in the field. So I wish Peblar team a lot of success with it. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day. And wish you a lot of success on this exhibition. Thank you.
So much.